Mic Drop Moments is sponsored by Grow Radio. Want to launch your own podcast? Grow Radio are here to help. Grow Radio has launched and supported countless podcasts, and they'd love to do the same for you. Just hit record and they'll handle the rest. No editing stress, no technical faff, just a great podcast released when you want. Need a little extra support? Grow Radio's workshops and courses make getting started easy. Let's bring your podcast to life. Message Grow Radio on social media or reach out to Gary Jones, the founder of Grow Radio. Let's make this happen. Welcome to Mic Drop Moments, and today I'm chatting with Enfys Maloney, sales training with Enfys. Enfys, I'm not even going to try and explain what you do because you'll do it far better than me. So tell us a little bit about what you do right now.
Yeah, all right. So thank you for having me. I'm Enfys. I'm a sales trainer. I run masterminds, incredible events, retreats, and essentially my business is designed to help with one thing and one thing only. And I help service-based business owners make more sales more comfortably every day. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love my work, and I love to see how people take the expertise, take the knowledge, take the courage and transform their lives, because, the sales you make or you don't make impact absolutely everything in your life. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Right, well, we're going to dig into sales a little bit later, but I want to know your backstory. I always like to know how people got to where they are today. And I know you've taken a few twists and turns. So tell us a little bit about the backstory and what you did before.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, like everyone, we've got these zigzags, the zigzags that take us to where we are, right? And the zigzag will no doubt continue. But I live in North Wales. We moved here about a year and a half ago from Bedford, which is where I set up my business. But going back, I did a degree in criminology, and that was 20 years ago. And whilst I was waiting to get a real job and doing that whole get a real job thing, I fell into sales, and I worked in recruitment and loved it. And then we went traveling, came back, and I was like, I love sales and I love travel, so I'm going to work in travel. A few years later, and I did, and I had a wonderful time selling holidays. And then I set up my own business as a travel agent, and I did well, and I did well quickly. I had a toddler and a baby when I set up my first business, and it was right juggle, and you're fitting it in, but I was passionate about it. I loved it. And then the pandemic came and just devastated it. So those 2 years of setting up this new business were just flatlined and just instantly by the pandemic, because travel, obviously there was a global travel ban. There was, all the hotels were closed. Every booking I'd made had to get cancelled or rearranged. And it was awful. It was really awful, I lost my income instantly, and I was just like, what are we gonna do? And we had to pay the mortgage, and we relied on my income, and I was like, it's that real question mark of it's not often that you get completely stopped in your tracks like that. And it didn't look like a silver lining at the time at all. It looked like an insurmountable problem that I didn't really know how to get around. But I just had this idea that I would go to my network, and I networked with Athena Bedford at the time. It was an amazing community. And I just asked in one of their groups, I can't sell my stuff, but does anybody want my help to sell your stuff? Because they'd seen me do sell really well in the network, and I'd sold really well on social media, and me and marketing just click, And instantly 35 people said, yes, 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 in the comments. And I was like, oh, really? And then sales training with Enfys was born, and I had 12 clients in my first couple of weeks of putting it out. And that first year was hard. It was really hard because I was trying to figure it out. Still had the small kids, massive pressure to make the business work. But I went for it, and I'm still going for it. And 4 years later, it's a multi-six-figure business, multi-award winning. We've got hundreds of clients, hundreds of happy clients as well, hundreds of successful clients, and it feels like a really incredible journey, actually, and one that still feels right at the beginning.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a minute because you've got a mission and I want to share that.
I
And
do have a
at the
mission.
time of recording, you're at the start of that mission, but by the time this goes on air, you're going to be well into that mission.
Yeah.
But something you said, when your business is stopped and you have to quickly think on your feet, and
Mm,
the obvious thing is go back to something you've done before or something something you can turn into something. I don't think skills are ever wasted. I think whatever
mm,
skills from past work and past life you can bring into today. And I was in a similar position. Events, they just fell off
yeah.
a cliff. All my venues cancelled on me but wouldn't
Mm,
refund. And they were holding on to deposits, they were holding,
mm,
and Eventbrite held on to ticket money. And I had to quickly think on my feet, and that's when I went online. But I
mm,
wouldn't have gone online, and I wouldn't have gone UK wide had it not been for the pandemic. So,
mm.
it did have a silver lining, even though perhaps we didn't think so. But tell us a little bit about your mission first, and then we're going to dig into sales. I love your mission. Go on.
Yeah, all right. So this is a funny one, right? When one day you just decide to declare to the world what you're doing. Well, this is what I'm up to. And I had a brainwave at 2 o'clock in the morning,
As you do.
to share my story. And my mission is mission to million. I want to take this multi six figure business to seven figures in 12 months. Now the odds are stacked against me. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a delusional goal as I'm speaking now. But I'm like, look at the past evidence. All the other goals I have are pretty delusional as well. Like moving to Wales, we've got a 10-acre place here in rural Wales. My husband has left his engineering career and stepped into business. Those were delusional to begin with. Setting up the business and getting it to like six figures in its first 12 or 18 months, I can't remember now, like quickly, that was impossible as well. And I'm like, do you know what? I've done some impossible stuff before. Let's just see. Let's just see if I can do it. So I'm documenting as I go and sharing the story as I go, because I think that there's a real tendency for people to almost like write a biography afterwards, like
Mm.
after the event, after they've done it. But I want to share it in real time. The mindset wobbles. I think these will get to me. Just the challenges, the decisions, the prioritization, the like. What does it actually look like to actually scale from multi six to seven? And I'm going to do it from my field in North Wales. And, the sheep are outside, the chickens are there. The chicken likes to come and peck at the window, which is pretty annoying. Hopefully that won't happen on this podcast. But I've got this like rural life and then these big ambitions, and I'm just going to see if I can do it.
But I think the fact that you're sharing it actually makes it more accountable as well. Not only are you showing people what can be done, by putting those big, audacious goals out there, but actually by sharing it, the highs and the lows, because I imagine there will be some lows in there. It won't all be, oh, wonderful, it's all going to fall into place. You're sharing the real story. And I think that makes you accountable to your audience, but it also shows your audience what is achievable.
Yeah. I think, do you know what I've got fed up with? Is the glossiness of business development. And it's really hard. Like, even though it's simple, it can be really hard to pursue your goals day after day after day. It's like, comparative to like running to catch a bus is pretty easy. You can just run down and catch the bus. Running an ultra marathon every week, every day is hard. It's tiring. You get worn out. And I don't want my stuff to be glossy. I want it to be real, raw, relevant, and useful to anybody that comes alongside me. And honestly, I thought of it kind of selfishly as accountability. That's what I decided. And now, obviously, it is a way to like bring people in, and they're interested in the story. And I'm like, you're welcome in. But literally, to start with, I'm like, this is just for me to keep myself accountable. Every week, I'll share like a newsletter and a blog style newsletter to share the journey, because every week we've got to make progress. It's not like someone's going to give me £1 million on day 365. I've got to do something every day. So what am I going to do every day? And I kind of know
Yeah,
what to
yeah.
do. Yeah.
And it's about having that focus, that laser focus on
Mm,
everything you do. I always say I don't do anything unless it makes the boat go faster. And every decision I make, everything like that, will it make the boat go faster? No, then leave that shiny object there and just forget about it. And I think it does laser focus you in. So
can I tell you another thing that I'm doing?
Yeah, go on then.
This one's bad. This one I'm like envious. Why am I doing this? But in April, I'm also going to do an ultra marathon. An ultra marathon, because I think, and this is kind of me tricking myself, I think I perform better in business when I'm in a better health, in a better state in my fitness. So I'm like, all right, so Mission to Million will pair up with this Mission to Ultra Marathon. Oh my God. I haven't started the training.
What's an ultra marathon? Just explain it for the listeners. What's an ultra marathon?
50 kilometres across mixed terrain in North Wales. It's the She Ultra that I'm doing. And the She Ultra is a marathon that is an ultra marathon that raises money for women's health, which is really close to me because my mum was really, really unwell with over the last year. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to try and do my bit to raise money and raise awareness, because it was a really rare and horrible form of cancer, basically. But yeah, I've never shared that publicly anyway. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do the ultra marathon to pair with this Mission to Million, because now's the time. Get healthy and get ambitious.
Yeah, love it the way you're pairing it with something else as well. And I think doing the running, I'm not a runner. I will never be a runner. I can't even run for a bus. But I think pairing it, I get my fitness in other ways, but I think pairing it with something that you can't be sitting at a desk, that you can't, it allows you, I know when I go walking with the dog, that's when I get ideas. When I'm doing something where I can't write something down, that's when the ideas flow, when you create the space. So
I mean, do you know what I do? I run and I voice note myself like some hillbilly idiot. I'll be like in the middle of Snowdonia on some random little road, like running and voice noting myself, because I'm not going to stop and type, and then I can capture the ideas. But you're right, and success doesn't happen at your desk. Not really. We action what we set out to do at our desk, but we can't. This is not going to be a desk bound year for me. The less, the more I am like harnessing those creative thoughts and having the confidence to implement them. That's so huge. There's a real difference between thinking and doing, and I want to enable and activate that as much as I possibly can. And to anybody who's listening, who's got like sitting on the fence of an idea, the difference between that thought and that action is everything. It is everything. There's no secret sales hack. There's no secret set to selling. I mean, there's a lot of know-how, expertise, and there's ways to hedge your bets, if you like, or to enhance the that the likelihood of a profitable outcome. But you've got to do it. You've got to do it, and the confidence.
About implementation. There's no point on having all these ideas and not implementing, because if you don't implement, you're almost holding back. And I think sometimes you've implementing and taking the action. It actually means, I mean, if I go and learn something, I implement it straight away. You know me, we talk about something and off I am, I'm doing it there and then, because if I sit on it, I'll talk myself out of it, or I'll forget about it.
Do you know what? So 2 things. Yeah, I've said this many times, but your ideas are valuable and vulnerable. You can have an amazing idea and it's so valuable to you, but it's so vulnerable. The minute you say it to somebody, the wrong person, they can blow out that idea like a candle. Which is why we need success circles and groups and communities that normalize, like, it's a crazy idea, but do it anyway. And then just picking up on that implementation, like quickly, like success for a large part, it's down to speed. How quickly can you make a decision? How quickly can you put something out there? How quickly can you leverage something? How quickly can you fill your event or fill your spaces on your mastermind and go on to your next campaign? So much of, we don't necessarily always have to do things differently or even better. We just have to do it quicker. You know, we can collapse time by just moving faster, upping the pace. And I think really successful people do make decisions when, they make them quickly, and they learn on the job. They do it in imperfect action, quick imperfect action, see what happens and refine.
Exactly, because you can make the mistakes and you can tweak them, as you go.
Yeah.
I have put out things before without a sales page and a fancy funnel. I've just put something out there and said, "Here you go," and it's
Yeah,
worked. During the
absolutely. I,
during the
I do the same.
pandemic, I had nothing, and I just put something out there, and it sold.
Yeah. So this week, I've got an example of that if you'd like me to share. Um, we were put up. So I run a membership called Vibrant Connections, which is online networking, and I really wanted it to become an award-winning network this year. And this week we were announced as a finalist for the Best Business Women Awards for the Best Network. And instantly I was like, oh my God, I want to celebrate. I'll open the doors to visitors on Monday. I've done like 3 or 4 posts, and so many people are going to come and visit us. There's no page, there's no campaign. It was just an idea. I was like, do people want to come and celebrate with us? Yes. And the chances are I'll get a number of new clients out of that, you know? And this is the point. It's like not everything has to be polished or thought in advance. Sometimes we can move quickly, make an invitation, see what the appetite is, and then formalize it next time.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great and it's coming up with those ideas and suddenly thinking, right, I'm going to go with this, and that is often the best decision to make. So
Yeah, and just to finish this story,
yeah,
the first post I put out about it had crickets. Crickets. Okay. And at that point, I could have been like, oh, no one wants to come. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? And I could have retreated away from my idea and been like, oh, that was a rubbish idea. But actually, the same post by the next day had lots of comments on it. And I'd already scheduled other posts to reinforce it. And it just took the audience a minute to catch up with my announcement. If I would have just been like almost embarrassed that there were crickets, I could have pulled that idea and pulled that opportunity away from myself. But actually, pursue it, do it, write a few more posts to make excitement around the invite, and all of a sudden there's loads of brand new people stepping into my world on Monday next week. It'll be great for the community, and it'll be great for the people who come, and it'll be great for my membership as well. So it's triple win, and it's just a thought, it's just an idea, and then the confidence to action it quickly, regardless of the immediate response.
yeah. And I think, that's the important thing, isn't it? People don't see everything. And I think you have to remember that. And you have to go into something with the same energy every single time, even if you get crickets. I've had so many people buy off me, and I think, where on earth did they come from? And I always source my clients, say, where did you hear about me? Oh, I've been following you for years. I've never commented, I've never liked any of your posts, but I always knew I'd join. And you think, good grief, you don't know how many people are just sitting watching. I call them lurkers.
I call them lurkers as well. But there is such power to that silence, you know. It's usually the people who comment and are really lively. They're not the ones considering working with you. They're the ones like supporting the content. So there's power in that silence. So post to the one quiet watcher, and then post again and post again, and have some exciting invites as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got to bring the energy into our sales and marketing. We've got to make our invites, our offers exciting, and we've got to make an experience around it. And I think that's what enables your audience to step forward and want to step into your world, because they see something that they're excited by, or interested by, not just the outcome, but like the feeling of the atmosphere of how you're going to enable whatever transformation you do through the power of your work. But because they're going to enjoy the process and enjoy working with you, that's a real factor in my own sales marketing as well.
I'm really confident in selling some things, but not others. And I don't mind holding my hands up and say that. I was in sales and marketing way back in the day. I've even done telephone sales, which I hated. Um, so I can fill an event, I can pack out an event, and I can sell tickets till the cows come home. and yet other things I'll put on. It's almost as if I'm nervously, and you're working with me, you're helping me with this. It's brilliant. It's changing my mindset. Why do you think so many people are frightened of selling?
I think it's really natural to be frightened of selling because it's got a bad reputation, right? It's from, there's such negativity around like what selling is and how it looks. And we don't want to be associated with being a salesperson, right? You know, people, I think selling needs a rebrand because done well, it's a really wonderful thing for you as the business owner, of course, but the clients you get to serve and the ripple effect or the impact that goes beyond that individual transaction. So why do people get fearful of it? Because they haven't thought of it as something that they need to learn. Like how long did you practice and learn how to run phenomenal events, and you go to university to learn your skill set, you do apprenticeships, you learn on the job to build your area of expertise and your knowledge bank. And then all of a sudden, when you run a business, you're expected just to know how to sell it. And it's like a completely different but equally important skill set. And I think there's always the fear of the unknown. If I was to say, oh, go and perform the tango on stage, you'd be like, that fills me with fear because I don't know how.
Yeah.
Going and selling on a discovery call or selling in a webinar, selling on social media, selling in the DMs, it's all completely new and unknown territory, which is why people need help. If we want sales to be a focus, we need to focus on our salesmanship. And that's what I help people with, to break down these awkward, icky moments so we can bring in the clients comfortably and on repeat. And there's so many things that we can do to iron out that transition, like moving followers to buyers. It doesn't just happen like a guillotine. Do you know what I mean? It can be a really well crafted process. But if people are too reluctant or scared to even look at that process or to really think about their discovery call frameworks, and I'm not a fan of scripts, but we can have key lines to, I call them transition lines, okay? Like to take a phone call from information into onboarding. How can we navigate that comfortably so it doesn't feel awful to you and the other on the phone? And this is what we're going to work on, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. We practice, refine, and see what fits you as an individual. But until you take the time to work on your sales skills, they're always going to be really uncomfortable because you can't see what you don't know. These are expensive knowledge gaps, and there's so much you can do. I've had so many clients being hesitant, tentative sellers. They're like, oh, it's just not working. We talk about okay, talk to me about your discovery call. What were you saying? What were they saying? And often it's like they just say things like, here's the information, let me know when you're ready. And then they get ghosted, where there's actually ways that we can, oh, sorry, my laptop's about to die, one sec. There's so much that we can do inside that conversation to ensure a better and quicker response and commitment from that client. So yeah, we need to work on it. We can't be comfortable in unknown territory, basically.
Yeah, and it's not a secret that every business needs to sell. Otherwise, it would be out of business. And I think it is. We're not in business for, unless you're a charity, but even charities need to sell. We're not in business for fun. We're in business to make money.
I think we can have fun and money.
Yeah,
I think we can have fun and money.
But I've never met a business owner that doesn't want to sell anything. And yet so many people get so far and then just expect everybody to come to you. It's like standing on a market stall and you've got the ones that are shouting with the beautiful displays and everything and just standing there with their arms folded, waiting for the audience and waiting for the customers to come. You've got to do something to make those customers become attracted to you, but then you've got to have the gift of the gab to be able to, there was
I don't know if it's gift of the gab. But there is a huge difference between client attraction and client conversion. So I've had what I'm really good at is conversion. I've had clients with like enormous followers, like thousands of Instagram followers, events filled, thousands on their list, but just not the conversion coming through. I'm like, okay, so what do we need to change? Others, I'm like, people are really good at converting, but just not enough people coming to them. So that's a lead generation issue. So first we identify like what piece of your sales process needs the attention first. And then we get intentional about making that process actually work, and there's so many different ways of selling as well now, like, are you selling on discovery calls? Are you selling in webinars? Are you doing sales funnels, challenges? Are you selling from the stage? Are you selling by email marketing, in the DMs, through your stories, or in networking? There's so many different ways as well to sell, like even just deciding on where and when you're selling.
Yeah.
That's a big area to get clear on as well.
Yeah, and I don't, as you say, it's not the gift of the gab. It's having a structured sales process that works for you. I think everybody is different, and you don't have to be massively confident. You just have to know how to do it, I think.
Yeah, and I also think, you've got to really know what you're selling. So I think that you use yourself as an example then, that that your events are phenomenal. There's no doubt in your mind that they are worth coming to, attending, sponsoring, and being a part of, because they worked and they worked well, and you have so many hundreds of testimonials, social proof is there. If you're going to be launching something new that there's no proof in the pudding, it's all elusive, like what is it? How much does it cost? What's included? There's so much unknown there that it's really difficult to sell until we get crystal clear on the offer. We can't get crystal clear on the conversion mechanism. So I always start with the end in mind. What are you selling and how are you going to sell it? Like literally, is it going to be webinar, discovery calls, freebie, challenge? We've got to work it out so they align and attract and convert and repeat. And it's a process. It takes time. There's not like a magic wand. There's not a selling silver bullet, but there is bulletproof sales strategy, which is what I'm all about, and we have to build it for ourselves. There's no real blueprint, really.
Yeah, love it. Sadly, we are running out of time. I could talk to you all day about this, and it's been great working with you as well, because I have been working with you for a while now, and definitely, I would recommend it. So I always ask my guests before you leave, please leave us with a piece of advice, top tip, or piece of wisdom, your mic drop moment.
Yeah, so just to reiterate the 2 points that I've already said, in terms of get really clear on what you sell. I think there's a lot of expectation on entrepreneurs to just know like what their offers and what their services are, but get crystal clear on creating incredible offers. Then decide on like what you're selling and how you're going to sell it. And then I guess I would make it a priority to work it out if you're unsure, because it's such a missed opportunity. If you could just be making one extra sale a week, what would that mean to your business? It's worth investing. It really is worth investing on your sales skills. I'm here, obviously, if anybody wants to reach out to me or follow Mission to Million or see what I'm doing behind the scenes. But for me, I invest time and energy to refine my own selling skill set in this like ever-changing market as well, like what works now, so I can create a really profitable and fulfilling business for everybody who comes in, and I would suggest that everyone should be doing the same.
Thank you. Today, I've been chatting with Enfys Maloney of Sales Training with Enfys. We will share all your links in the show notes. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.